almost lost the logo there for a second. So it's not a very nice day in New York today. We got some police standing over there ready to do nothing. And I'm outside Madison Square Garden. There's frequently disruption over here, so I hope that won't happen. But, you know, we had the Foo Fighters, I guess that was Sunday. And the New York, is it the New York Freedom Friday? Wow, look at that. So this progressive flag that I was totally unaware of prior to Google having it on there last week is now being deployed everywhere. I mean, isn't that amazing? How, if I didn't know about it last week, I think it's a fair, not that I know everything, but it, you know, I mean, it wasn't as well known as, say, the American flag, or even, you know, name a less well-known flag. Who knew what that was? I asked a crowd of viewers, at least hundreds, if not thousands strong, and no one immediately knew, or one person knew, but not too many people knew. And then now there it is, printed out. It's on Google's building, it's on City Bike. So, I mean, somebody had to coordinate that. I don't think you can just deploy that type of logo change on the City Bike racks in a day. So that's interesting. I mean, there's so many things that we see that cause us to think that there's, yeah, I'm on 33rd Street, causes us to think that there's some degree of coordination in that kind of stuff. We got the progressive flag everywhere. Uh-oh, I'm feeling some radio interference. I hope I don't get zapped. All right, I passed it. Anyway, the thumbnail image, as people saw, Donald Trump has announced that he's suing New York City. And I have to say, it was nice to have the president back on the thumbnail. It's been a while. And, you know, people who dislike Trump will be like, oh, he's suing New York. That's another, you know, sort of Trumpy thing to do. But I was thinking about it, and it might be ingenious. And there's a lot of reasons why. I'm going to talk about that. We're going to also head over to Trump Tower. I've been hearing news that President Trump is actually in New York or moving back and forth between New York and New Jersey. I remind people to become sponsors on subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. You know, if you're one of the people who's been looking around for Crowdsource the Truth and thinking, hey, where is Jason? I used to get notifications all the time, and now I haven't heard anything in a couple of weeks. Maybe you were subscribed to Crowdsource the Truth 3, maybe you then subscribed to Crowdsource the Truth forever. And then that, you know, they're just getting stomped. So the best way to stay on top of it is to become a sponsor on subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. This way, wherever the videos are going out, you're going to get them on there. And there is a huge breakthrough coming with the Crowdsource the Truth video server. We're going to have live streaming directly to the Crowdsource the Truth video server. So it's not going to be really a good replacement for YouTube, because really the biggest benefit of YouTube is that there's a huge number of viewers there who maybe don't know about Crowdsource the Truth. And when I produce a video that is of interest to people who are looking for other videos on YouTube, YouTube recommends it. So a lot of people like to tell me, oh, you know, go on this platform, go on that platform. It's difficult for a number of different reasons. It all requires more time, more effort, sometimes more money, more technology. And some platforms are better than others for those reasons. A little loud next to the bus. Just give me a second here. Oh yeah, right, by the way. People may recall that we were by here a couple days ago, and Victoria's Secret is kind of out of business over here. This was, I think, their flagship store in all of Manhattan, and now it's totally closed and they took the sign down. I mean, to me, it seems like that would have been a great idea to do a year and a half ago. Who knows how much they spent on rent here. But this seems like a company that's getting ready to go out of business. They've decided to accommodate woke culture. since they're in charge of selling sexy underwear to model-esque fit women, just like the notion that maybe math is too hard, so everybody should be dumb, since not everybody is super hot, I guess they want to now start advertising sexy underwear on, well, this is going to be considered not the right thing to say. They're trying to redefine the image of beauty. I don't know why people want to, here, more progressive flags. I don't know why people want to romanticize, unhealthy body conditions like obesity. I think wow, so this location is closed. That place really held out for a long time. Gone. But I don't understand why we aren't celebrating or encouraging people to become healthy rather than say, hey, be fat and love that. I think there's obviously a lot of people who can't help the way they are, but there are a lot of people who are eating McDonald's and drinking a ton of beer and smoking cigarettes and sitting around and getting fat because they're lazy. And rather than get the lead out and do something difficult to improve their health and maybe improve society, they just want everybody to love it that they're fat and go advertise underwear. Maybe that's better. I feel like I started talking about something and then I got distracted and didn't finish it. But I'm going to head over to Trump Tower. I don't think we'll see Trump over there, but people can notice just from me walking around. A lot of small restaurants have closed. I've said this many times. Fast food restaurants, pizza places, stuff like this is opening. I don't know if that's just because corporations own those, or maybe it's an opportunity for somebody who wants to start a small restaurant business now that there's so much available real estate. Perhaps that's the thing. But let's talk about the Donald Trump lawsuit. Why do I think it's brilliant? Well, there's been real loud whispers around in the news in New York and the law news and just sort of all over, pretty widely regarded that New York District Attorney Cyrus Vance is going to indict Donald Trump, or at very least the Trump Organization. It's my opinion that there's an ongoing effort to just continue this smear of Donald Trump through 2022 to try to reduce his effectiveness in endorsing Republican candidates and to carry that on through 2024 to prevent him from running again. A lot of people tell me, Trump is a stooge and he's in on it. I see how people could think that, but I don't know. And they definitely are going hard against the guy for somebody who's in on it and on their team or whatever. I just don't think that's it. I think it's more probable that he started out, with a sincere effort trying to do something good, and he was neutralized at some point during that process. And I think it might have been when he switched from, go back to work, it's no worse than Ebola or swine flu, and then he switched to we're at war with coronavirus. I think that was the moment where Trump was neutralized and captured, and then he started talking about the vaccine and the warp speed, and he loves that now. But it's also very Trumpian to be touting the vaccine, because if everybody wants that and he's the guy who brought it in, he wants you to associate that with him. Did we ever hear that Trump got it? I think he didn't, because he had COVID, right? So he probably has antibodies. But anyway, the reason why I find the lawsuit so brilliant, there's a civil lawsuit being brought by the Trump Organization. And by the way, people who want to help crowdsource the truth with its civil lawsuits can go to crowdsourcethetruth.com, and if you scroll down past today's video, you can choose one of the sponsorship options. You're going to get an annual subscription, even at the entry level. And for some of the larger financial sponsorship opportunities, you're going to get a multi-year gift subscription. You're going to get additional gift subscriptions that you can send to friends or family, anybody who has an email address. And it's a great way to support Crowdsource the Truth and help me fight back against lawfare, which I consider a gross abuse. And it's happening all the time. I really didn't realize the extent to which that is utilized. It's just nuts. And I believe that that's what's happening to Trump. I mean, I'm not making any kind of statement as to, is he in on it or not. I'm just saying, all this stuff feels like lawfare to me. And again, as far as the alternate platforms, the one that I find the best is Rumble. If you go to rumble.com and just search for CS The Truth, or if you go to rumble.com/user/CS The Truth, you can watch on Rumble. Good way to not support Google and YouTube. And that's growing. We've got 1,000 subscribers on Rumble. So thanks to everybody who's watching on Rumble. That's a great way that people can enjoy the show for free. And I'm going to put an effort into really putting all the shows on Rumble, because they have done a great job with their technology as far as making it easy for me to put the stuff on there. I do pay a really pretty high fee monthly to Rumble to be able to live stream, but I don't mind, because that frankly is the way that it should work. Those guys need a huge data center, lots of bandwidth, lots of computing power, lots of storage for me to be able to, blast out all these pretty long HD videos that I put out all day. So getting that for free from Google is one of these unsustainable, sort of like when Napster was around. I thought to myself in college, this is great having all the free music I could possibly want, but obviously the ultimate incarnation is if nobody can make any money publishing music, because everybody gets it for free, eventually there'll be no more music. And people say, no, there'll always be music. But my point is, we've got a whole industry that is based on getting music to you in ways that you like and encouraging people to get into it. It would just totally change the market. So, please become a sponsor, or at very least, share these videos, get onto Rumble, help grow that platform. We've all become sort of addicted to YouTube and free stuff on the internet, and that is one of the main things that's enabled these technocratic oligarchs to have such just unprecedented control over the information that we're allowed to see. I remain disgusted that Donald Trump failed to take action against Twitter, but I mean, again, that could be the same thing as him being neutralized and captured and doing whatever it is that the powers that be want done with regard to COVID passports and all that sort of thing. But the lawsuit is ingenious because what it's going to do is it's almost a counterattack. It's like a lawfare counterattack, or at least it's hard to describe, because you see, these practitioners of lawfare, they're generally trying to gamify the law, to use some kind of scheme to nail you. It doesn't have to do with the facts. I mean, when truth is on your side, and hopefully if the laws are just, you should be able to rely on the system to provide you justice. You shouldn't have to have $1 million to be able to ante up and sit at the table. But unfortunately, the way that our system is developed, our legal system that is, and perhaps this is due to other things, but the way it's developed is if somebody has a ton of money and you don't, even if you're operating within the law, there's a remarkable number of things that they can do to jam you up. And we're learning a lot about that. I'm going to continue to talk about that and do my best to learn everything I can about that. But the reason why I think this is brilliant is because now what's going to happen is, instead of all of this nonsense that's happening in the court of public opinion, whether it be senators asking stupid questions of Christopher Wray. Did people see Amy Klobuchar? Uh-oh, are we jammed up here right by the COVID thing? It looks like I've gotten... Okay, we're back. See, there's a lot of weird radio interference around in New York. I hope we're back now. I'm frozen again. I look frozen there. I might lose this pretty soon. Let's see, can we get the thing back? Huh. Okay, maybe we'll, if I keep walking, maybe I'll get to a better... We've got like a slideshow playing for everybody now. Amy Klobuchar was questioning FBI Director Christopher Wray in the Senate 2 or 3 days ago, and she said something to the effect of, "Oh, Director Wray, would you want to, infiltrate these right-wing groups?" And you gotta look this up. Go onto YouTube and look up FBI Wray, Amy Klobuchar, and then put the filter on to search for this week. There's Amazon Go. And I mean, the answer that Ray gives, he's like, well, you can be pretty darn tootin' that we at the FBI would love to infiltrate these groups, but it's just the stupidest. I mean, it's theater. Here you go with the theater again. The masks are not theater. But Christopher Wray testifying before Amy Klobuchar, that was theater, and that was bad acting. And people might remember, was it 2017 when Ray got confirmed, and I went to that hearing, and it was interesting. I mean, sitting in the room, I was overwhelmed with the feeling that I was watching like a high school play. Like it all just seems so contrived, the questions, the answers. Maybe less of that comes through when you see it on television, because you're not really getting the sense of the room, the other people who maybe the camera's not focusing on and stuff like that. So there's some details that you miss, but it just seemed like pure bullshit to me. Whenever I see guys who look ex-military-ish with big complicated backpacks walking right by me, looking at me out of the corner of their eye, I wonder. See, that doesn't look like a military backpack. That looks like a weed delivery backpack to me. Not that I know. But the curl up top there at the top, and the fact that it's made out of maybe smell-proof material, I don't know. So Trump, by initiating this lawsuit, the city of New York terminated various contracts with the Trump organization. I think the ice skating rink in Central Park was due for renewal, and so they just declined to renew it, which is, the city's choice to do. I'm sure the contract says when it runs out, they have an option to renew it, and if they choose to not exercise that option, then it doesn't get renewed. But in the case of, there's a golf course, a city-owned golf course that's managed by the Trump organization, which they've terminated the contract. And the reason given by Mayor de Blasio, the stated reason was that because Donald Trump incited an insurrection at the Capitol building on January 6th, de Blasio went on to say that at that riot, as he described it, Trump supporters incited by the president were responsible for the death of 5 people. This is according to Bill de Blasio, who is so stupid, I don't even know if he's aware that his real name is Warren Wilhelm Jr. But that's a separate matter. The fact is, he went on television and he said these things about Donald Trump, accused him of inciting an insurrection that resulted in death, arguably accusing him of a crime. Definitely, I don't know, I think a lawyer could make an argument that those are defamatory statements. And now the Trump organization is going to have an opportunity to pay probably very expensive lawyers to make the argument that it was a wrongful termination of the contract. And the reason why it's interesting, I can virtually guarantee that Donald Trump, I can't see a big, huge company that owns hotels all over the world being that bent out of shape about some golf course in the Bronx. But I think he's doing this because it's going to give him an opportunity to do things like potentially even call de Blasio as a witness, or to enter those statements into evidence and then challenge them with facts and get a ruling from the court. I guess it must be in state court, or I don't know. Is it federal court or state court? They're both in New York. It's all in New York, so that might make it Supreme Court. Either way, he's going to get a ruling from a court as to whether or not those statements are true. And if they're found to be true after, thorough examination of evidence, well, then we're going to have to do another video. But it's my feeling that those claims from de Blasio and others are not going to stand up to proper scrutiny in a court. And then what's going to happen is, because this is happening quickly, like now, and they haven't indicted Trump yet, isn't this Safra Bank something that we've spoken about on Walks with Charles? I think that the hope on the part of Donald Trump and lawyers for the Trump organization would be that this information will come out in civil court and we'll have sort of an undeniable ruling from a court. It smells like legal weed. Undeniable ruling from a court that de Blasio lied and that Donald Trump, in fact, did not incite a riot during which 5 people were killed. I mean, it was totally inaccurate, obviously. And I mean, unfortunately with court, it seems things never work out the way you want them to. Maybe they'll find that de Blasio misstated it, but they'll consider that an inadequate finding to determine that Trump did or did not do anything. I mean, I don't know. I think they're always finding remarkably creative ways to turn a victory into a massive disappointment when you get involved with court. So we'll see what happens there. I do seriously doubt that we'll see Donald Trump over here at Trump Tower, but we can see the building there off in the distance, and the wind is picking up. I'm luckily being spared the rain right now, but I don't know how much longer that will last, and there's probably a lot of people saying, oh, it's windy, get a thing for the microphone. But I'm not going to listen to things like that because there's a lot of reasons why I need to use this type of microphone right now, and I'll leave it to Apple to figure out how to stop the wind noise. So Marsha says she's not a Trump supporter, but on Trump's supporters' side, knew it was a honeypot waiting to happen when Trump said, come to DC, it's going to be wild. Well, you know, I don't know. Did Trump draw everybody into that? I don't know. And even if he did he do that? I mean, again, there's a couple different ways to look at this. A lot of people seem to think that from the outset, the whole entire reason that he wanted to run for president was because he's, you know, in on the fix or whatever. Then there's other people like me who think that he started out wanting to do the right thing, but somebody got to him and did something. You know, in Godfather, when they talk about making an offer that you can't refuse, those can be compelling offers, I think, and you can't refuse them. You know, assholes who drive taxis and honk up the streets should have a horn stuck right in their taxi and blown right in their face. It's very annoying. But, you know, New York is back. Step out in the street and get honked at. Oh yeah, there was a story out of, I think, Paris. Somebody emailed me, I think it was in Paris, or it was a French article, or maybe it was in Canada, but a woman was walking down the street on the sidewalk, which is obviously designed for people to walk on, and some idiot on an electric scooter crashed into her, and she fell over and hit her head, and the woman died. So for all of the dopes who say, oh, it's just kids having fun, no. There are designated places where you can have fun, and there are designated places where other things happen. Is that Don Johnson? Oh, Benicio del Toro. See, look, movies now come out on HBO, not in the movie theater. But yeah, dopes need to ride skateboards and bicycles in designated areas for having fun with those things that can be dangerous to old ladies, little kids, old men too, even regular people. Somebody crashed into me on a skateboard and resulted in me breaking my wrist. Now, I mean, that didn't ruin my life, but it screwed me up for a couple of months, and I had to pay a lot of money in health insurance deductibles for surgery. There was like a anesthesia deductible and an x-ray deductible. The whole health insurance business is crap, by the way, and Obamacare, I think I've said my piece on how I feel about health insurance and everybody who gets bent out of shape about pre-existing conditions. I just don't think that the mathematical formula of insurance works. Oh, now wait a minute, they moved this big sculpture. This thing was in, oh no, it's in the same spot. I thought they moved it to where Atlas was. So now, oh, because it's Pride Month, we have, maybe that's why all the progressive stuff is around. I guess that's got to be it. I saw after we did the video, not on my video, but other people tweeting and blogging about that, many black people found it offensive because it has such exaggerated features. But I think it was an African artist that made it, so I don't really know what's going on with that. But it's there in Rockefeller Center. Have people been watching the series of Manny Grossman? Whoa. almost got run over by a Mercedes. So if you're going to do that, do it in style. At least they probably have insurance, unlike the guy who rear-ended my car in Los Angeles. All these insurance deductibles, it's like unbelievable. But, all right, so we're approaching Trump Tower here pretty soon. It's interesting that all the security is gone and now Trump is back. So we'll see what happens with this lawsuit. That's just my opinion, by the way. I think they're bringing it not so much because they care about losing the contract. Oh, looks like they moved the Lego store. It was just a block away over there, but June 25th, which is 3 days. I see, and they got rid of the mask on Atlas because now all the COVID restrictions have been dropped, which is good. But again, I don't trust it, just like I don't trust all this attention that's being placed on Anthony Fauci. Yeah, this is like a way bigger, don't make a face at me. People walking 2 inches behind me, and when I stop, they give me the gas face. Don't walk so close behind me. Stupid people, not from New York. Sorry, I just crossed that woman's photograph. Anyway, this is going to be a huge Lego store, so perhaps stake it out and Jim Comey will be there when the new Star Wars Legos come out. Yeah, I mean, there's an etiquette to New York that people from out of town don't get. And don't walk 2 inches behind somebody and then get pissed off when they stop. It's one thing when the streets are clogged, but it's nothing like that today. And by the way, this is not back. This is not back. Most restaurants are closed. Is this Victoria's Secret closed? Most shops are closed, out of business. You can go to the Harry Potter Museum if you want. What does this say? Victoria's Secret Pink. It looks pretty closed to me. And it looks like they're still, well, we can see there's one sort of more full-figured model there, but look, I don't mind. Use whoever you want, but if you're going to make sexy underwear and put it on, you know, obese people, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe the brand will explode. Maybe they'll do better. It's up to them, right? Anyway, if people have been watching, I was reminded by St. Patrick's Cathedral over there because we were talking a lot about Catholics for Latin America and Catholic relief services and some of the curious things we were finding in the 990. That thing has a huge operating budget, and there were some expenses in there that did not seem to make a whole lot of sense. These lights are real confusing here. Why? They can get something kind of different going on. It takes a long time to get just a couple blocks to check out Trump Tower. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with Trump's lawsuit and de Blasio. I'd like to see de Blasio get deposed. He strikes me as a guy who would appear pretty stupid under questioning. But I guess you can't really sue him when he does something in his role as mayor. I mean, how would that work when you sue New York City? The law is complicated, and there's a lot about it that I don't know. But we'll see. Cyrus Vance really wants to take out Trump. We've seen from other cities that controlling the district attorney is a very strategic, position. We can see now. You know, Trump just a few months ago was president of the United States, and now he's under the thumb of this dope down on the Lower East Side. Or potentially, he is. Yeah, the umbrella sales begin. When the wind picks up and it's about to start raining, you can be sure there'll be umbrellas for sale. I wish that guy was in his house under lockdown rather than driving around honking, going through the light, blaring the horn. People who are fascinated with scaffoldings will wonder, what is that Coach Stuart Weitzman tag your scaffolding doing all the way up there? And the answer is, I certainly don't know. I haven't seen one like that before. We've been up, now I feel the rain coming. We've been up and down Fifth Avenue a few times. This stuff going out of business. Okay, so now it's gonna rain. Why do people want to walk right up behind me? You got a whole entire open sidewalk. I'm getting annoyed with some of these people. Right, so we were looking at Catholics for Latin America. That was a charity in Yonkers that apparently owned 180, I forget the address, but if you watched the video last night, either on any of the Crowdsource the Truth properties or the Manny Grossman YouTube channel, you can review that. Probably if I had another arm, I could stick my hand in my pocket and look at the phone and see the comments, and somebody might tell me, but until I get one of those umbrella hats, I'm not going to be able to do that. Okay, here we go, Trump Tower. Whoop, do that and the wind catches the umbrella. Okay, there it is. But it's like a lot less security, so I don't know. Oh no, actually we got 3 cop cars, maybe Trump is there. I don't think he's going to stroll out the front door, to tell you the truth. He probably would leave from a basement garage in an armored limo, I would think. It's got to be a little bit annoying for Trump. Like before he ran for president, I think everybody either kind of liked him or didn't think much about him. I'm sure there were people who didn't like him, but he was mostly just a pretty popular celebrity with, I think his TV show was like the #1 show for a while. And then he ran for president, and now tons of people hate him. Can't sell his ties at Macy's anymore. And there was some football star who was pressured by fans to sell his apartment. I saw a thing in the newspaper, the guy lost $10 million. You got to have a lot of money to want to just lose $10 million to satisfy your fans. Sorry, I don't think I would do that. So yeah, it's supposed to rain basically all day. And then we've got a special guest tomorrow on Charles Ortel is closing in. Now, it looks like another progressive flag here hanging on Bergdorf Goodman. They used to have tons of cops outside Trump Tower with, you know, big rifles and dogs and SWAT kind of stuff and armored this and that. They've definitely reduced the security. And I thought that was due to Trump not being there. But then I saw a story that said that he's there, perhaps to deal with this lawsuit against the city of New York. So there's no regular guest for Tuesdays now. Lee Stranahan has moved High Dive to Wednesday night, tomorrow night, after Charles closes in. Lee will do the High Dive. So that's cool. People can check that out. I'll try to add another regular guest for Tuesdays, or maybe I'll just leave it open to kind of do stuff like this, see what happens. Yeah, we can see Bergdorf Goodman. Everybody is all done up for Pride. I saw some story about some particular company. You know, these companies, they don't really actually care, I don't think, because in other countries where LGBT communities are not supported like they are here in the United States, they don't have those things. So they're just, you know, doing whatever it is that they think their customers want. Now, is there always a black stripe at the top of the LGBT flag? I feel like that's going to be some new and different flag that probably means something else. Maybe black stripes matter? Do you see that black stripe on the top? I feel like that's new. Unfortunately, I'm not, as far as I'm aware, involved in the Goodman aspect of that. I don't know that if I've ever even bought anything in there. And also it's here across the street as well, so they're doing very well. Got the Apple store over here. I gotta start heading east a bit. Yeah, people can see it's a little overcast. It's only about 70 degrees today, so the weather's been kind of all over the place. It was really, really hot yesterday and Sunday, and now not so much. So why are the Apple employees still wearing face coverings if the governor said that all COVID restrictions have been lifted? See, I think this is what I forgot to say before. Just like I don't trust all this, renewed interest or newfound interest in Anthony Fauci and the gain of function research that he appears to have known about and attempted to hide, at least. I just don't trust that pivot. People are like, oh, finally the truth is coming out. No, I don't think so. I think, they've devised some new limited hangout, or Fauci has outlived his usefulness and they're about to, toss him out. Limited hangout is just one of the most important things. When it comes to these deceptions, these intelligence operations, there's a fairly limited, I don't know about limited, but there is a finite playbook in terms of the number of tricks that they have, but some of them are so effective that they just keep using. Double-cross agents, infiltrators. Look, there's all this talk about the FBI. That's what the questioning in the Senate of Wray was, is did the FBI have provocateurs and infiltrators on the ground on January 6th? I mean, it's a stupid question, and here we are 6 months after the fact. Charles and I figured that out by maybe 2 o'clock on January 6th. But they're too busy canceling all the YouTube channels to even look at that. And instead, they want to ask dumb questions of Christopher Wray, who, if you still have faith in the FBI, you really need to ask yourself why that is. I don't know that I can recall any display of confidence on behalf of the FBI. If someone's aware of it, I'd like to know. But I just think it is an organization that's been corrupt since its inception and is just constantly doing really nothing but messing with citizens. There's a lot of unusual police equipment that's been kind of like strung up on these. See, like this, we got some kind of wires going over to that thing, and there was some weird, see that little white box? I don't know what they got going on there, but we're being surveilled. There's going to be an article coming out on Sputnik News. Katya Blanova sent me some questions. I've been now brought into the same interview process that Charles has spoken about many times, and it is very nice. It's very pleasant to work with Katya. Idiots on the internet like to say, oh, look, Russian newspaper is interviewing Jason. Well, what if a newspaper from Japan or Spain or Canada or Mexico, or name any of the 290 whatever countries there are, if they called and wanted to interview anybody, why would that be bad? I mean, this demonization of Russia. Just lost signal there for a second, which is a bit annoying. Hopefully it's back. But I don't agree that an offhanded statement from Trump, like come to DC, it's going to be wild, means that he was trying to entrap everybody. Trump says hyperbolic things like that all the time. And I've also noticed when he speaks, people have suggested that, any billionaire is going to be kind of somewhere on the spectrum of autism, because there's something about them that's, I think most people are doing everything they can to try to earn money and be successful, but it's only a very few that actually make it. So if you're one of them, please become a sponsor on subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. Doesn't that look like the thing from the Boule that's stepping on a skull? Is that a griffin or something with a crown on it? What are we looking at here? But yeah, become a sponsor on subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. Got a lot of luxury retail shops that are out of business over here. And if you're not a billionaire or otherwise, don't choose to sponsor the show, please share these videos and email them to friends or people who you think might be interested. And I feel like there was something I was going to say. It's sometimes hard to keep the train of thought. There's a townhouse for sale. This looks very expensive to me. And it's number 34, so you got nothing to worry about with that. All right, well, I have a tendency, I turn the thing off and then something crazy will happen that I know everybody's gonna wanna see, so we'll keep it going for as long as we can. This is some very, like expensive, I think fancy, quiet apartments around here. Other than getting my haircuts, I don't really spend too much time up here. And the only reason I come here is because that's where the haircut guy moved his place to. I guess his business is kind of stabilizing. He's still there. We're past April and he didn't close, so I guess that means he renewed the lease. There was some story that California is going to use bailout money to pay people's rent, like people who can't afford the rent, and also there was some dust up that they were going to even provide that funding to some businesses, including cannabis businesses. But if it's legal and that's a business, then what's the difference if you're selling cannabis or wood or, you know, hardware or whatever? It's like you have a business, and if that's the socialist policy that the People's Republic of California institutes, then a cannabis business should get the money like anybody else. There's not really too much going on today. I guess most people are staying home because of the inclement weather. They had predicted heavy rain for right now, so at least we're not yet having that. More scaffoldings. Oh, what's this? A Lotus? Yes. Yeah, it's amazing to me, the cars that people will just park on the street. Evora. Is that what that was? Yvonne. I don't know that one. Oh, no, it's in Evora, but the A fell off. Wow. Well, that's what you get when you park it on the street. Someone stole the A. Maybe. I don't know. We shouldn't jump to that conclusion. We have inconclusive evidence to determine that it was stolen. It could have just fallen off. Sometimes when we see these people sitting in their own cars with the mask on, they're Uber drivers. So I guess rather than constantly putting it on and taking it off, they're just doing that. All right. I don't know, not too much going on. If I had turned it off last time, then I wouldn't have segmented the live stream. If people are watching on Facebook and some of the other channels, I don't have the ability to make discontinuous live streams stay continuous in the way that I do on YouTube and on Rumble. That's another good thing about Rumble. It doesn't stop the live stream until I tell it to stop. And I have to do a little kind of wrangling to make that happen on YouTube. But anyway, I'm sort of just rambling now, so I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.